Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Charity Muhammad. How are you doing today, Charity?
I'm blessed and thankful. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks so much for speaking with us today. I can't wait to hear what you have going on over there. But I always like to get a little backstory to see what was going on before you decided to start your preschool journey.
All right. Well, before I started my preschool journey, I was previously a manager of a pound cake company,
Okay.
and I had my 2-year-old son while I was working there, and I didn't have consistent daycare. And then I became pregnant with my 6-month-old son. So my issue became, how was I going to provide childcare for two children, let alone just one child. So
Right.
and while I was trying to figure all that out, and I ended up having to take off work early, go on maternity leave early before I had my second child. And I was just kind of brainstorming, kind of praying, if I'm allowed to say that, about, what was I going to do. And I always had a dream of homeschooling my children anyway. So the ad, I ran across the ad on Facebook, for how, it was the ad about why I'm against preschool.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing it, but I never read it. But since I was working from home, being on maternity leave, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to click on it, and I decided to, watch it and actually read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually filled out the little questionnaire form to get the free book. And I
Yeah.
didn't think the free book was coming, but the free book came in the mail,
Yeah.
and I was excited to read it because I also do have background in child care and in education as well. I have a early childhood degree
Oh,
already
awesome.
in pre-K through fifth grade. Yeah, I
Perfect.
taught school for I taught third. Actually, I taught kindergarten, Head Start, all the way up to fifth grade. And I also have owned a daycare, and I was a supervisor at someone else's daycare as well.
Oh, wow. So you have lots of experience. So what made you leave
Yeah, a whole lot.
the childcare and teaching in the first place?
Well, I left it to begin with because I moved to a different state, and
Licensing.
I had my teaching degree and everything, and I was teaching in the state of Arkansas, and then I
Mm-hmm.
moved here to Alabama, and I was teaching here in Alabama as well. But I just I wouldn't call it burnout. I would say it was more of a difference of opinion, with the parents,
Yeah.
and the students, where I was, currently teaching. And
Mm-hmm.
I just decided to follow my other passion, which was baking and
Okay.
catering. So I started managing this baking company that I worked for them for about 2 years, almost 3 years. I worked for them.
And how did you like that?
Because I had that cooking passion. I love that because I had my catering business on the weekends while I was teaching anyway.
Oh, cool, cool. So you
And
have
it was
lots of
just
experience either owning a business or teaching. You have experience in both.
right.
Perfect.
That's right.
All right, cool. So you found Joy's book and you decided that's what you wanted to do. So do you have a local preschool or online?
I started out as a virtual preschool.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is of course, my son, he is 2 years old now. And I actually, I'm on social media a lot, and I post a lot of, content on social media. And, he kind of attracted, some of the parents that I have today. And
Nice.
they ran into the struggle of, it's kind of difficult with the way their work schedules are set up to actually, be able to log their child in and actually be
Yeah.
able to, have their child focus on the videos and the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it available to them to bring their child locally.
Mm,
And that's kind of how I jumped into so my virtual actually turned into a local school. And
nice.
also my students, they have siblings that were older.
Okay.
And so that's why now, instead of me just doing preschool now I offer tutoring, and I offer homeschooling from ages 2 all the way up to the age of 18. And I'm
Wow.
also I'm looking into getting my in-home, it's a preschool at this point, and now I'm considered a homeschool pod now.
Yeah,
And
nice.
I'm also yeah, and I'm also looking to turn it, get certified in the state of Alabama, with the state where I live, to be able to service newborns as well, 6 weeks old too, babies as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
So
because
you got a
my
lot going
kids have,
on.
they have they have younger and older siblings, and I want to be able to, help the whole entire family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then do you do what are the hours of your care? Is it full day or is it still half day?
Well, no, it's still half day. Mainly I have a lot of students that do 2 days a week for four
Okay.
hours a week.
Okay.
And then I have some that do 3 to 4 days a week, but I still limit it to 4 hours a day.
Okay. Is it the same? What
Mhm.
hours are you open?
From 10 to 2.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Okay. And so do you do like a Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Monday, Wednesday, Friday group?
Yeah,
Cool.
I have a Tuesday, Thursday group from 10 to 2, and then I have a Monday through Thursday group from 10 to 2. Then I have a my Tuesday through Thursday group turned into Monday through Friday. I've kind of been just adapting and adjusting
Yep.
to what my parents are telling me that they need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's pretty much how I've been doing it.
So are you licensed for preschool or are you unlicensed right now and you're looking to get licensed?
Actually, and where I live, I don't technically have to be licensed.
Okay.
So that's why I limit it to 4 hours, only four
Oh,
hours a
okay.
day.
It's a time limit thing.
No Yeah, yeah, but
Okay.
what I'm working on now is the way it's set up. I have to be licensed under a certain title. That
Mm-hmm.
way I can start servicing, 6 week old all the way to 18. And I also want to be able to help my low income families.
Mm,
So I'm working on licensing to be able to,
do
offer that
subsidies.
subsidy program.
Right.
Yeah, the subsidies, and there's also a food program as well, where I can make sure that, they're being fed, healthy food while they're here.
Cool. Cool. Do you provide food right now? Because
So,
it's
so
kind of
I'm
in
looking.
the during lunchtime.
Well,
No.
no, I right now, because I'm not certified for that program,
Right. Right.
just to get away from all of those, regulations and everything.
Yeah.
I ask the parents to provide their own food,
Yep.
and but I do follow, all the sanitizing. I sanitize every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything has to be sanitized every day. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
follow
yeah.
all those regulations. And there was a link put in the group, to where you can send the message to your parents every morning, the COVID screening.
Mm.
So we do that. All my parents get that link, every day, and they have to fill that form out before they bring their child.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And how many
Yeah,
kids do you have?
we wear our mask.
Okay. Yeah. Do the kids wear a mask or just the teachers? The
The
kids too.
teachers and the children, we wear
Okay.
masks.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And how much do you charge for your 4 hour class? What are your prices?
Well, I have, a couple of founding families,
Okay.
and so I started them off with the one. It's actually about 117 a month for my founding families, and that includes their supplies.
Okay.
But
Is that what
for
started with
everyone
the
else,
online class? You started with that price for the online
yes.
class, but then it moved to in person. And you kept the
Yeah,
same
then it moved
price?
in person. No,
Okay.
with my founding families, only
Okay.
with my founding families. But when I moved to in person, I just added a $50 supply fee.
Okay.
So that just kind of made, bumped it up to about 167. And then I charge a sibling tuition.
Okay.
And my sibling tuition is about 200 to 250 for my sibling tuition, if
Okay.
they have more than one student enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another one, the one that is, but that's only for 2 days a week, two
Okay.
days a week for
Yep.
4 hours a week. but with my student that's Monday through Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of went up to about 350 for that student
Okay. And how
because
many
she needed.
students do you have in each class?
Um, I have a total of 10 students, and I have about 5 students, 4 to 5 students in each class. And I still have a few that are local. I only have no virtual. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
okay.
have about 3 that are virtual at this point. The other 7 they were virtual, and now they transferred over to local now.
Cool, cool. And when you do your virtual, do you run that during your local class or after or before?
Well, for it depends on what what age they are and what they need. The preschool children, I turn my Zoom call, I let them tap into my actual local class.
Okay.
And so we do morning meeting together, and we do a circle time together on the Zoom call for the preschool students. But
Mm-hmm.
for my older students that are, like school age students, I actually, tutor them in the afternoon after my local students leave for the day.
Okay. And is that one-on-one
And we
tutoring?
basically, yes, one-on-one. We basically work on whatever subject, they need the most support in. That's what we work on.
Cool.
Whether,
And is,
reading,
yeah,
most of
reading or
them need
math?
help with reading.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Is that the same price as your other class?
No, I don't charge my tutoring, the students that I just tutor, I don't charge them the same price. I charge them about half the amount that I charge for my local,
Okay.
because their session is about 30 minutes per session.
Mm-hmm.
So I charge half the amount because I'm still trying to be reasonable, because a lot of my families, they are in the same boat that I'm in. They're
Mm-hmm.
just, doing the best that they can do with what they have at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. But soon you'll be able to get that subsidy and help them even more. So you could both, yeah. So that'll be awesome. Cool. So what
Yeah,
has
and
been
this
your,
and this
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say my program is Montessori based.
Oh, awesome.
And I try to let the children, kind of guide the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of along for the ride. I have a lesson plan every week. I send the lesson plan to my parents. I send them like a weekly guide. We'll do a letter of the week, a
Mm-hmm.
number of the week. And there's certain, standards, the state standards. I send the standards to each of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I do progress reports. I haven't done report cards at this point, but I do progress reports, and I do screenings because I have some students that are dyslexic, some are autistic, some have been diagnosed with, ADHD and different things like that. So, I try to send them progress reports and the standards so they can, make sure their child is, on track, because a lot of my parents, they don't want them, in the public school system, just like I didn't want mine in the public school system,
Yeah.
but they still want them, to be able to compete,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to be,
Totally.
staying on track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you said
Mhm.
you market it as a homeschool pod.
Yes.
Cool.
Mhm.
So what's your
Yeah,
school's name?
the name of my school is Planting Pure Seeds Academy, LLC at this point, because I have my LLC now. So
Nice.
it's
Good job.
Planting Pure Seeds Academy.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Awesome. And so you market it as like a Montessori based homeschool pod. That's cool.
Yes.
And I bet there's not a lot of those in your area. You're probably the only one, right?
No, there are not very many at all that, actually offer services for ages 2 all the way to age 18. Because I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of parents that say, well, I have a 2-year-old. Can my 2-year-old come? I'm like, yeah, my son is 2. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, your 2-year-old can come. That will actually help my 2-year-old,
Yeah, yeah.
because he'll get a lot of, peer interaction. Right now, he's learning a lot from, my older students. He has learned, a lot just from being around them, how to behave in, social situations. That's what he has learned from them. And then they also learn from him, as well. I believe they learn from each other,
Yeah.
no matter what age they are, they can learn something from each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. The
Yeah.
older ones
He
like to
used
kind
to
of be
throw,
leaders. Yep.
yeah, he used to throw his plate on the floor when he was done eating.
Uh-huh.
Now he doesn't throw his plate on the floor because he has, watched all my other students when they finish, they pass their plates and they get up and throw things away. And he
Hmm.
also has learned how to sit at the table. Now, of course he's 2 and it's kind of limited. He'll sit there for a few minutes and then he wants to be all over, but he's still learning. He's still
Yeah,
learning
yeah.
from the older children.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Totally. So is it just you doing everything, doing the online tutoring and the online class and just you in the classroom, or do you have help?
Right.
It's just you?
At this point, it's only me at this point. Of course, I have my partner. He helps me, my children's father. He helps
Mhm.
me with, the cleaning, the sanitizing, the any type of transportation, basically any and everything that's not teaching related. He helps me. He's my recess. He's my recess teacher is what he does whenever we go outside for, a play break. He's kind of like the guard, to help me, keep my eyes on everybody.
Yeah.
Whenever we have to do a bathroom break, he kind of steps in. So
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for him. Also, my parents, they volunteer as well.
Oh,
Whenever they're
cool.
needed, they volunteer. They send supplies whenever it's needed. They'll send enough supplies for, the other students as well. So
Mhm.
it works out. It works out pretty good, and it's really exciting. And the main thing is they have a lot of fun, and I think I have more fun than they do actually.
Mhm.
And I focus a lot on their reading skills. That's the other thing I focus a lot on is them being able to choose what they want to learn and also making sure they have a good foundation when it comes to reading. And I know it's important for them to have a good number sense.
Mhm.
Number sense and numeration is very important.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of parents who want their children to learn, multiplication facts, and different things. But I always start with the basics. Even with reading, we go right back to the beginning with phonics, just
Mhm.
regular, good phonics that we learned when we were growing up. I start with phonics. That's how I screen all my students. We start with the basics. And at this point, I have my 2-year-old, he's reading at this point.
Wow.
So phonics works. And I don't use sight words at all.
Yeah.
I'm more so focused on phonics because I feel like sight words is it kind of tricks them, and it kind of deceives them into thinking that all words are going to be like a sight word. But if they learn the phonics, they'll be able to
Yeah.
decode any word that they see, no matter how big it is. So we don't do
Exactly.
sight words at Plain Pure Seeds Academy. We don't do
Yeah.
those. I just recently moved into a bigger house as well, so I could dedicate just one of the big because I wanted bigger rooms, so I could
Mhm.
turn one of my rooms into the actual homeschool room. So I just moved like 2 weeks ago. So that comes with when you transfer your Wi-Fi, they don't always come on the day they say.
Oh, yes.
So I had to kind of cancel. Everybody went back to virtual for like 2 weeks while I was moving, and I didn't have any Wi-Fi, and then I didn't have a computer that had it
Oh,
was crazy, but we made it work. I sent
oh my
them the
God.
lesson plans and the guides, and my parents they rocked it out. They did what they knew to do because I have different apps that I use too with the
Mhm.
students. So I
Okay.
just sent them the guide. I use Khan Kids
Oh yeah. Khan
and I
Academy
use
is
Boom.
great.
So they like Khan Kids, they like Boom Cards. And I use Go Noodle.
Oh,
There's
Noodle's
different
great
websites
too.
and different apps that I use.
Mhm.
So they were still able, to have some learning going on while I was, in transition. And I would tap in with them on a Zoom call at least once or twice on my phone, just so they could see my face. We would read a book or, do a quick morning meeting, or just let them talk to me because they had, weren't able to come for like 2 weeks. But
Mhm.
they enjoyed it. We do a lot of hands-on activities too. Yeah, because I know they all learn differently. I'm a visual and a hands-on learner. So
Mhm.
we do a lot of visual and a lot of hands-on, and I post a lot on Facebook and social media, and I try to, hashtag all the different skills, that we're
Mm.
doing. Like even When we go outside, I hashtag, the different things they're learning, social emotional, gross motor, different things that look like, oh, they're just playing, but they're actually learning, you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Everything in
my
preschool
parents my
is
parents told me,
learning. Yep.
yeah, play. They learn through play.
Absolutely. So how did you get into Montessori? Are you certified in Montessori or did you teach in Montessori schools
I'm working
before?
on my No, I got into Montessori from whenever I was going to school for my teaching degree.
Mhm.
But like I said, I always was working for a public school or a private school. So, of course,
You
you
weren't
can't
allowed to
really
use it.
do that. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you were not allowed to do when you're working in a public and a private school too. You would think that a private school, you wouldn't have as many restrictions, but there were a lot of restrictions on the private school side too, because you're trying
Mhm.
to keep your parents happy pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So I always said that one day, whenever I had my daycare, actually, I kind of it was kind of Montessori style, kind of Montessori based when I had my daycare, but I didn't have the funding. I didn't have the funding that I needed during that time, but now I have a little bit more funding, and I'm currently fundraising, and I am also crowdfunding for my
Ooh.
school planning Pure Seeds Academy
Oh,
LLC.
cool.
So and my plan is to apply for grants as
Mhm.
well, so I can get all the other, more supplies and more materials that I know that, will help my students, to develop, all the skills that, I want them to be able to develop using the, the Montessori approach. Cause it looks like they're playing, like I said, but I have a 2-year-old and I have preschool, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade. We're all in the same classroom. We're all learning together, but they're all learning, at different levels.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
you walk in and you see one child is over here on the puzzle, one child is over here drawing, they're all doing different things, but we're all learning. They're all learning. And I just check in. I just check in with everyone, make sure everyone's on track. That's pretty much what I do. I check
Mhm.
in, when they get tired of that, then it's time for us to do something else. We go outside a lot. We do a lot of things outside. We eat
Mm.
outside. We may do, we do all kind of activities outside. They love being outside,
Yeah.
so I try to do the things that I know they enjoy because I know they learn better when they're happy and they're
Oh
having
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the
Yeah. We
Montessori method
also
is
we deal
more
with.
of the teacher takes more of like a facilitator role, right? They just kind of
Mhm.
observe. It's all
Yeah.
about observing what the kids are doing and where they're at and then meeting them there. I like the Montessori method. I'm on like a bunch of like Montessori parenting groups on Facebook and I like a lot of what I
Mhm.
see. And
Mhm.
like the toys, I have this little
Mhm.
subscription box of Montessori toys for my baby that I really enjoy, and he
Right.
loves the toys. And I think it's a really cool method. I want to learn more
Yeah.
about it. And having a Montessori,
Yeah.
like an in-home Montessori preschool, is cool.
I have to remind my parents a lot of the times because you know how, especially when it comes to handwriting, you have a lot of parents that were raised a certain way, and they things were different when we were going to school.
Oh yeah.
There were different rules, different restrictions, and I
Mm-hmm.
just I just try to help them to understand that let it be my responsibility, to be worried about your child and how he's progressing. Like I want them to be relaxed, at ease. I don't want them to make it a stressful situation for the child, because
Mm-hmm.
if they're stressed out, they're not gonna learn either. They're gonna
Yeah.
shut down, they'll put up a wall, so I'm just like, let me be the teacher, and you get to be the parent again. Because a lot of parents have been stressed out, from the shutdown that we had.
Yeah.
So I try to be a stress reliever not only for the students but for the parents as well, take some of that weight and stress off their shoulders. But I also have to help them to understand that even though it looks like we're just doing activities, they're learning, and they
Mm-hmm.
are on track. I say that a lot. Your child is on track and
Mm-hmm.
he's ahead of schedule in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of areas, but we're not gonna focus on what we think he's behind in. We're gonna, strengthen him where he's strong, and then we'll give him support where we think he, may need support. And
Yeah.
I told them I'm not using the letter grading system. I'm not using that at all. I said we'll do progress reports, and they will only see smiley faces and checks on their papers. That's all they're gonna see, because I want it to be a completely positive, learning environment for them, like completely stress free. Because I know they've all been stressed out these last 2 years.
Yeah.
So in a lot of times I will ask them questions and they will answer me, but when their parents ask them, they act like they don't know what they act like they don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, she knows. And
Yeah.
I record, of course I have their permission, but I
Yeah.
record it and I will send it to their parent. And I'm like,
Mhm.
see, she knows. She knows all the things. She knows all the things that she needs to know. So,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. We got it. Just relax, and I also have to kind of pull them back a little bit and say, no, do not pressure, don't put pressure on, your baby to do this thing this certain way,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to handwriting. That's a big thing,
Mm.
with a lot of, parents is handwriting. That's kind of what we're working on. That's the only thing I send home really is handwriting with my students. I just let them practice, because the more they practice, the better, their handwriting, it'll become more legible. And now since I have more students, they're able to see the other students' handwriting,
Mhm.
and they're kind of policing each other. It's called positive peer pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
So now my 2 year old, now he's trying to write now. He's trying to write because he sees the older students writing. So now
Mhm.
he's trying to write,
Yeah.
so
You know
and
what? So
it's
many parents
that's
don't
just the way it
understand
works.
that, like, things like handwriting for preschoolers, like their hands, their bones and muscles aren't fully formed, like
Right,
preschoolers
right.
writing is not, you need to be doing things like Play-Doh to strengthen their fine motor skills. And parents don't
Exactly.
understand
We
that,
do.
like writing with a pencil is not what you need like a 2-year-old to do, like
They're
having
little like
playing. Yeah. They need to strengthen those
exactly
skills.
what you said.
Maybe sending
Exactly,
articles
because their
to
hands.
parents. Have you tried that? Like sending articles about that, like
Oh
child
yeah.
development to
Oh
parents?
yeah.
They still don't get
Hmm.
it.
Oh yeah.
Not getting it. Yeah.
Well, I send it. I send it.
You
I
can't force
send a
them to
lot
read
of
it though.
things. Right, exactly. But they
Yeah.
do now. They don't complain because we do a lot of fine motor activities. We do a
Yeah.
lot of them, and but
Hmm.
I try not to do Play-Doh too much because they get I don't want them to get burnt out on any one activity.
Oh
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
try to keep it to where they get excited and they ask to do Play-Doh. Like we don't
Hmm.
do Play-Doh every day. We do it maybe
Yeah,
once a
yeah.
week. Maybe
Hmm.
once a week we do Play-Doh. And that is what you said. We do a lot of fine motor activities. We don't do handwriting in the classroom. We only
Hmm.
do fine motor activities because that also will help them with learning how to use scissors as well.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
like you said, their little fingers, the muscles, they're not strong enough yet.
Hmm.
So you can't expect them to be able to hold a pencil or use a pair of scissors if their little
Right.
fingers, aren't strong enough, and it just becomes a frustration to them. And
Hmm.
I feel like that's my purpose is I want to take all the frustration away to where you actually want to do it. You ask
Yeah.
me to do it versus, oh man, we got to do that again. Like I want them
Right.
to be like, oh yay, it's time for handwriting because all we're working with Play-Doh or we're tearing little pieces of different little
Yeah.
all the activities that you can do
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to fine motor. Like they think it's fun, they think it's
Hmm.
exciting, but then when I go home at night, they practice writing letters and they practice writing their name, and that's it. That's all I have
Hmm.
them practice and numbers.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
one
let
of
them
the
practice
reasons I
writing their
love
numbers.
preschool is because like so much of it is just playing, like, well, I know that I'm helping their future writing skills by having them squeeze Play-Doh and rip paper, like that's like a really fun
Right.
thing to do instead. Cause I used to teach first grade and I was in the public schools and I just felt like all day
Right.
we were sitting down and writing because that's what the curriculum, and it was like pulling teeth and I hated it. And I knew they weren't getting, like trying to make it as fun
Yeah,
and
because
interesting as possible, but not being supported in that. So teaching
yeah, you
preschool is
can't
like
do
really
that. You
fun.
cannot do that.
Mm-mm.
You can't do that in public school or private because, like you said, they want to when they come in that classroom, they want to see them at those expensive
Yeah.
desks
Yeah.
wearing those, is and using
Yeah.
all those expensive school supplies that have been purchased. And
Yeah.
you have observations and you have
And they
all
want to
these
see
tests and all these
100% of
different things.
engagement. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you expect to
Exactly.
see
Yes,
100%
yes.
engagement when you're not providing engaging stuff here? Like, I'm
You
barely
have
engaged.
about
Come
20,
on.
20 something, 20 something students, and their attention span is like 15, maybe 15 minutes max. I
Yeah.
know mine is like that. I'm an adult and I'm like, after about 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
let's do something else. I doodle, I still doodle when I'm in a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, my
still
gosh.
have to
Yeah.
do other things when I'm studying, so you can't expect a child to just sit still for that long. So
No. In
now
fact, they
my students, they
say,
ask me, they're like, oh,
I think
they
they
say, oh,
say
can
like
we sit
1
down now? I'm
minute
like,
per
no, no,
year.
no.
Yeah, totally. I think they say they can concentrate for 1 minute per year they're alive. So, like, if they're 2 years old, they got a
Yeah.
2 minute concentration window. Like 6 years
And
old, six
it's just
minutes.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and what I was saying is now, when I was in the public school, it was we had to be seated. I would do the brain. You know how you do the brain breaks.
Yeah.
I would do brain breaks. Try to give them a little, breather or a different little, get them up and moving out of their seats. But now at the school that I'm running now, my students they beg me. They're like, "Can we sit down? Can we sit down?" I'm like, "No, no. Look, come on, let's get up. Let's keep going. You don't want to sit down, do you?" They're like, "Yes, please. We're tired. Let us sit down." And I'm like, yes, that's how I feel like that's how it should be. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be we have to sit down or we're gonna get in trouble. It should be
Hmm.
we want to sit down because we're tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it should be. I feel happy. I'm like, I'm kind of doing a little dance inside when they're like, "Can we sit down now?"
Hmm.
I'm like, "Are you sure you want to sit down?" Yeah, yeah, let's sit down. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right, I guess we can take a break. Yeah, let's take a break. And
Yep.
sometimes we just go sit on the porch and we just watch the tree. We talk about the trees and the weather and
Oh, I love
different
that.
things. They
It's so nice to have
yeah,
that
I just
freedom.
I just hmm
Yeah.
yeah, it's really fun and it's really exciting. And I'm glad that I saw that ad. I'm glad I ordered the book because it kind of just reignited what was already inside, because like I said, I had already planned to homeschool my child
Right.
actually.
Yep.
I didn't know I was gonna have a second child, but I had already planned to homeschool him anyway. But I didn't know how, I was gonna get out of the workforce, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, to be able to do it. But when I was blessed with that second little baby, it was almost like you know what, you really just need to be at home with your two children because there's really not adequate child care, especially after, the shutdown. It just,
Yeah.
not there's not really reliable or adequate child care, around nowadays where you feel safe and secure and your child's gonna be learning too.
Yeah. Totally. I agree. And yes to all of that. So, what are your future plans, would you say?
Oh, okay, so my future plans are, I plan to expand into a building. I plan to have multiple, kind of how I have all my students in one classroom. I plan to be able to break them up into, different age groups. And I always I level up my students. That means that if I have a second grader, I teach them, on the third grade level. If I have a third grader, I teach them from the fourth grade curriculum, and so on and so on. Like my
Okay.
2 year old, I'm using the pre-K curriculum for my 2 year old.
Hmm.
Because I know they rise up to meet, whatever standards we set. But long story short, I would like to have, first and second grade, in one classroom, third and fourth, have them kind of, it's not really going to be based on age groups. It will be based on, their understanding level
Right.
pretty
Yep.
much.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
plan to have a building. I plan for it to be fully licensed, a Montessori, school. I want
Nice.
to have a huge playground. I want to have all the outdoor activities, all the things you see with the
Hmm.
outdoor play.
Yeah.
I want them to have access to all those different things. I plan to have a garden. I plan to have, animals, for them to tend to and, learn about. I
Wow.
plan to
That's so
have
cool.
a lot of hands-on activities, is what I plan on us doing. And, I want us to be state certified And because we will have, state standards. I want us to be, you know, the NA, the NAE, NACE.
Yeah.
I want
Yep.
us to be fully certified, and I want us to be Montessori based. And I plan on having, a lot of teachers, but I want all my teachers. I want us all to be on the same page, have the same passion, for, making sure that, all the children, are learning, and they're learning at their own pace. And I want to service families. I want to service them from the time your baby is born until the time your baby turns 18. He'll be with us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make sure, that he or she, has all the tools that they need to be able to succeed and do whatever they want to do, whenever they, turn 18. If they want to go to
Wow.
college, great. If they want to go to a trade school, great. If they don't want to go, great. I want them to be able to succeed at whatever they want to do. I know I'm gonna have to hire, some music teachers, art, all those different kind of teachers to, kind of, so they'll be able to, fully explore, all the, skills that they will,
Yeah.
the skills that they will have,
Yeah.
foreign languages too, because I incorporate Spanish and English too with my students, which
Okay.
from what I know from my understanding. But I plan on hiring teachers that have the same passion, and they may even have, if they have more passion than I have, that's even better. When it comes to things that I don't know or things that I have questions about. I want to
Mhm.
have like a good support,
Yeah.
support team, and I want us to be like family, and we're gonna help your family. And like I said, we'll be able to help you feed your child, all the social, emotional, all those different parts, the whole child. We'll help you
Yeah.
with all of that, almost similar to what Head Start does. I want to be able to do the same thing, but I want it to go from the time he's born all the way till he turns 18.
Well, that's awesome.
Not stop at a certain age, but all the way to late, and even beyond 18, because there will be special needs students. And I also want to have the gifted students as well.
Yeah.
I consider them to be special needs too. They need extra support as well, when they're gifted, so they won't get bored and
Yeah.
be stunted because we don't have anything for them to do. Because that
Right.
was me in school. I was that gifted child that I was always bored, didn't have anything to do. I would read everything they gave me, and then they would run out of stuff, so they would have me grading papers, running errands, doing, the stuff that
Yeah.
they have you do. Like, it's so exciting, but it's just because they ran out of stuff for you to do.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah. They couldn't
I
support
want
it.
to, I want them to be able to explore all those different things.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that's
that's an
my dream.
amazing dream. I love that. That's awesome. And I mean,
And
you're
if my
making it
sons,
happen.
and if
You're
my
making it
sons
happen.
want to, yeah, and if my sons want to, be a part of it, I made them a part of my LLC. So, if they want to actually be hands on, with the academy, that's great. But if they want to go in another direction, that's fine too. I want them to have whatever tools they need to do whatever they want, and need to do. I don't want them to be, employee minded. I want them to be, a business owner.
Yeah.
Like, I never want them to be employees. I
Right.
want them to be business owner minded.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to instill in them now, to be entrepreneurs, not employees.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an amazing thing to instill in them. That's awesome. That is a cool thing that, I have a 6-month-old too. And it's like a really cool thing that I think about. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna know his mama started like this business. And I want him to, either participate in the business or just be interested in and know that he can start whatever he wants, because he watched me do it.
Right. That's right.
It's like an exciting thing to be able to show your kids. You're not slaving away for the man anymore. You're doing your own thing and you're being a job creator and you're making your dreams come true. And what a great example for your kids to show them that they could do that too.
Oh, can I also add this little nugget in?
Yeah.
With my academy, I did not want it to be a Christian based or anything like that, because my dad was a minister. Well, he's still a minister. He's been
So is
preaching for like
mine.
40 something years. Oh, good, cool. That's cool. So you're a PK. PK.
I'm a
You're
PK.
a
I went
PK
to
as well.
PK retreat every year.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
I did.
Oh yeah. Every time the doors open, we were there. Every
Yeah.
time the house, we had visitors every Sunday just about. We cooked every Sunday just about. That's where my passion for cooking came actually,
Mm.
was from us having to cook, every Sunday because it was a minister or a family that needed something. It was. But I was saying all that to say I didn't want to make religion be the base or the center, because
Yeah.
I saw a quote. I should have got that quote, but it says that I don't have to talk about God or different things like that because He's in me.
Mm-hmm.
So He's a part of my curriculum because He's in me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about my school. I don't want to throw God in your face, but He's in me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your
I love
child
that.
is gonna have good core values because if he's in me and he's in all the teachers, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna get it too.
I
It's not
totally
gonna have
get
to be
that.
thrown in their face.
Yeah. You know
And so
what?
it will totally. Mhm,
That's the way to do it because I'm not religious
mhm.
anymore because I grew up witnessing so many people who, talked the talk and didn't walk the walk, and it just really turned
Right,
me off from
right.
it. So I love I love that you're saying I don't need to throw it out there because the way I live my life is my example. And I feel like that's how it should be with,
And,
I mean, even if you're not religious, if
and my
like
name,
I still have my
my
morals,
name speaks for itself.
Yep.
My
Yep.
name speaks for itself. My name is Charity.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself.
Yep.
So you say you were a PK. Anybody that knows anything about God, when they hear my first name, it speaks for itself. I live up to my first name, and that is a daily thing. Every day I live up to my name every day.
I love it.
Every day. That's been my passion. That's been, of course, as a child you feel like it's being forced on you.
Yes.
But
I do know.
I actually believed everything I was studying
Uh-huh.
whenever I was, studying, and I
Yeah.
I, I still do my, morning. I call it my morning meditation, and
Mhm.
that's why I call with my students now. I call it we have a morning meeting.
Mhm.
That's what we have, our morning meeting, and we don't have to memorize a daily verse, or we don't have to do all of that because I don't know. I don't want to step on any of my parents' toes when it comes to that
Right.
either. But most of my students, their parents are of the same mind that I am. You know, so
Yeah.
it works out. We talk about him. In public school we couldn't talk about him, but
Mhm.
I can talk about him as much as I want to now in my academy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can, help my children understand what I want them to understand, and kind of break it down on their level so they understand.
Yeah.
There's reasons, for a lot of things, and I'm able to share those things with them, at my academy. But I don't believe in throwing it in people's face because I feel like my life, and my words, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's so
that's why I chose the name I chose as well. It's because it's called planting pure seeds.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's why I
Love it.
chose that name. Like if you are, like you said, with being a PK, that name should activate something when you hear that name, planting pure seeds.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. I love it all. You're doing some awesome things, Charity. You're doing some great things, and it's only going to
Thank
get
you.
bigger from here. And I wish you all the best of luck
Thank you.
in all of it. And I hope next year we can check in and I'll find out what you've been up to in this next coming year. And it's all exciting. And I wish you all the best of luck.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.